Woo! I don't know if this is working. We're doing a test really quick with something different. Let's see. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. What up, everybody? It's Ango, by the way. We're live. We're using something called StreamYard. I'm just testing this out. It's kind of like a cool platform to do live streams and everything like that. So it does look a little bit different. I want to try this out. Don't know if this is going to be a long stream or anything. Just want to kind of do some quick thoughts, test this out. It's obviously been a long day. But hopefully everybody had a great night. We had some debuts on SmackDown. Then we had AEW Rampage. First of all, can I just verify, how does my audio sound? Hopefully it sounds good. People are saying, Real Take Sports says, yo, Ango sold out the StreamYard. No, actually, I'm just trying it out because there's a couple things I'm going to be doing on the channel with it. And I haven't used it yet. So, we have to try it out, see how it works, see if I like it. I don't know. It's a very, very strange scenario. My streams will not be like this going forward, really. It's just me kind of trying something new. But if you guys could go ahead and click that like button, I want to give you guys my thoughts on SmackDown and Rampage tonight. I actually liked both shows, truth be told. I actually really enjoyed both shows tonight. I thought they were both good. I think the real talk for tonight's stream is Wheeler Yuta because AEW has got it right. So very cool stuff. Very, very cool stuff between both shows. Very cool stuff. So we'll wait for everybody to get into the stream and yeah, we'll kind of see what happens. Hopefully you guys are all having a great day. I don't know what's in store this weekend. We know I know there's UFC. UFC is this weekend, so I'll be watching some UFC. The Tigers are playing, so I'll be watching Tigers as well. But yeah, no, overall, I was really happy with some wrestling tonight. Truth be told, I was just really ecstatic about it, and it was really cool seeing Wheeler Yuta. And yeah, Melissa, Myra, Albert, Eric, The Card, Nate TV, what's up, everybody? Real Take Sports, Steven, Jorge, Ishak, Renee, welcome, everybody. I know the stream looks a little bit different, but again, if you're joining in, we are using StreamYard. This is not a sponsored post or anything like that, but basically what StreamYard is a website where you can go live. I'm going to be traveling, actually. So the reason why I'm testing it out is because I'm going to be traveling through the next several months. And with me going through traveling, I'm going to be going on vacation, a couple different trips in the next few months. And as I go on those trips, I'm not going to take a break from YouTube. So I'll still stream. And yeah, it was going to be really, really cool. So yeah, just trying to test this out because obviously I won't have my super duper setup when I go travel, but I'll still be bringing you guys videos and stuff. And I just got to make sure it works. And that's why I thought we would do this. But hopefully everybody's having a good day. Hopefully everybody's having a good night. Hopefully you guys enjoyed SmackDown. Hopefully you guys enjoyed Wheeler Yuta. That was really cool. So I was really excited about that. Wheeler Yuta specifically going into this match with Jon Moxley, just really, really good booking, really good match. And I know some smartass is going to be out there and say, "Hey, man, don't you hate when champions lose clean on television?" And I feel like it's kind of shitty that I have to remind people too. But first and foremost, just because a champion loses on TV doesn't mean I'm against it. What I'm really against is the idea of a champion losing on television clean for no reason. Obviously, Wheeler Yuta, the story is bigger than anything else. So him being ROH Pure Champion, losing clean, but also joining the Blackpool Combat Club, to me, that's 100% acceptable. This is not like Ricochet or Finn Balor just losing for no reason. You know what I mean? So very, very cool stuff. A lot of people joining in. Let's see what we got going on here. We got a super chat, it appears. Let's get that in here. Sam Piboon dropped a super chat for $4.99. Why WWE is boring right now and AEW is the best wrestling company right now. Sam, thank you for your super chat. First of all, I appreciate you for the $4.99 super chat. I'm going to disagree. I honestly think every company right now has something really, really good. So I just have to be completely transparent and completely real, honest with you. I thought WWE Smackdown was great tonight, and I thought AEW was great tonight. And I really think the best thing wrestling fans should do is stop comparing one to another when it comes to something that is subjective, right? There's a difference when you compare matches or booking decisions. But I think the idea of comparing what is something that is subjective, right? Entertainment or whatever, to me personally as a fan, I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I think, we're all going to disagree. We're all going to agree. I think Rampage tonight was a really good show, but I'm not going to sit here and say Rampage is the best part of TV every single week. So, you know, that's just my honest opinion. Now, obviously, it does appear to me that AEW is pushing Rampage, which is fantastic. I'm extremely excited about that. So yeah, we'll see how things go. As far as Rampage goes, I was all for it. My only complaint I actually had tonight, by the way, we're just gonna get this out of the way. The only complaint that I genuinely had tonight with Rampage was the fact that Rampage, they're trying to get a lot of content in within that hour. So I totally understand. But I think if you're a casual viewer and you're tuning in for the first time and you don't know who Willow Nightingale is, I think it is kind of detrimental to the company to not have the entrance being aired. You know what I mean? I think the entrance is a really good way to I think the entrance is a really good way to um connect with the crowd and the viewers at home. So all in all, that was really my only complaint, is just maybe not cutting all the entrances and whatnot. Other than that, I really didn't have a complaint about Rampage, and I really didn't have a complaint about SmackDown. A lot of people, I'm seeing it in the chat, and we'll bring it up. Um, let's see. This is the one thing that's pretty cool about StreamYard. So the way that it integrates super chats and comments, I could just throw them up on the screen, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure how to do that with my normal setup, but let's take a look. So Jay Taryn says Sasha lost and she is one half of the tag team champions. Does this make sense? Yes, it does make sense because it was against Liv Morgan. So keep that in mind. Liv Morgan is obviously there's a storyline that is being said there. So again, it's not like the tag team champions lost on TV. Sasha Banks lost without her tag team partner. And again, even though I'm against against champions losing clean on TV, the idea here was to give Liv Morgan a big win. There's logic behind it. So yeah, there's no hate that AEW or WWE is going to get from me today. Now, when we talk about tag team championships or US championship or any of these championship belts really on WWE television, if they're losing clean, I think that's the big issue. I think that's the big concern. So me personally, I would suggest that maybe try to find logic within having the champions lose. Sasha Banks losing against Liv Morgan, it wasn't just somebody who's been on a dominant streak, right? Liv Morgan has needed a big win for a long time. In fact, wrestling fans have told me for a long time that they've been telling me for a long time that that Liv Morgan deserves a push. She deserves a push. Well, she's not going to get a push if she's losing singles matches all the time. So that also made sense. I'm really not against it. Just in general, I'm in a good mood. I thought both shows really excelled. We got a super chat for $5 from Albert Ponce. So is Jinder winning the IC title belt? I am okay with it, but if Ricochet his reign means nothing. By the way, tonight Yuta arrived. Albert, thank you for your super chat, brother. Yeah, let's talk about this, right? So we did have a scenario tonight where Jinder Mahal was backstage begging Adam Pearce basically for a championship match. Now, I don't know what WWE's plans are for Ricochet, but I do know that so far what I've seen with Ricochet holding the belt, I'm not happy with it. Now, I normally don't have a bias, but right now I'm obviously a very big Jinder Mahal fan. Anybody who knows me knows that when I cover this, I've been on record for saying that. I believe right now, as it stands, Jinder's probably not going to win the IC belt. I think this is going to be WWE's way for Ricochet to get some wins and then probably build a program. Now, with that being said, if you guys are unaware, if you didn't watch SmackDown tonight, it is It is April 8th. It is April 8th, 2022, and WWE made the decision for the tag team championship belts to be unified or something like that. I don't know really how to explain it. We'll talk about that in a moment too. But yeah, Albert, thank you for your super chat. I don't know if Jinder is going to win it, but I do hope that they build some sort of program. It's going to be really important for the company to do that. It'll get people excited about the mid-card division, truth be told. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. A lot of people talking. What were some of the things I liked and disliked about SmackDown? Really, SmackDown, we saw the debut of Raquel Gonzalez, she's now on the main roster. They changed her name just slightly. They called her Raquel Rodriguez. So I believe that's not really a big change. That doesn't annoy me or anything like that. That's a cool change. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. Um, we saw the debut of Gunther. Gunther is on SmackDown, and his manager is now Ludwig Kaiser. So obviously they split up Imperium just slightly. I know a lot of people are going to be critical of that, but I don't believe you should be critical. First of all, tonight Gunther had a squash match. Now he has somebody to manage him. The idea is for Gunther to stand up on his own and not have to hide behind being in a group, especially being as a heel character. I think this is WWE's way of trying to build Gunther up as a top star at some point. Now, I'm going to be a fan and I'm going to try to enjoy this as much as possible. I'm also not mad about the name change because the name change makes sense. I think a lot of people are going to remember the name Ludwig instead of Marcel Barthel, or what was it? Like, I already forgot his name. The Ludwig name works. Ludwig Kaiser. It's catchy. I think WWE is going to have a really good scenario with this. But yeah, WWE has made the decision to change the names of people coming to the main roster, and that bothers people for some reason. But it's the way WWE works. The way WWE works is that when you come to WWE's main roster, they want their touch on the branding, the name, the presentation, everything for the intellectual property. So, yes, we saw the name change of Raquel Gonzalez to Raquel Rodriguez. It doesn't even really change much. Raquel is good. She'll stand up on her own and do her thing. From Walter going to Gunther, same thing. It's fine, right? And then obviously Marcel Barthel. I honestly I forgot his name because now all I remember is Ludwig. So I actually think that's going to be a really really good change for WWE. But yeah, WWE is going to change the names of these people. I think these wrestlers are really good at getting over on their own. I don't think they need to. I don't think fans need to actually worry about the name. I think what they need to be more concerned about is the storytelling and the booking that they have. That should be the real interesting thing as time moves on. We got a super chat from Sam Piboon again for $4.99. Will RK Bro win the SmackDown Tag Team Championship this Monday night and beat the Usos? Man, that would be a really interesting scenario considering that the Bloodline are challenging for the belts. Now, I do believe that Randy Orton and Riddle have to turn on each other at some point. I don't know who's going to do it, but if WWE is going to unify the tag team championships, I would have Riddle turn heel and I would have the Usos win those belts. The rumor about 6 to 7 months ago was that WWE actually had brand new tag team championship belts designed, and they're just sitting in the warehouse because they didn't know what to do with them. The idea was that WWE was going to unify the belts a long time ago. Now it appears that they're actually going to do that. If they do move forward with unifying these belts, hopefully we can get away from the blue and red straps and then finally have some real tag team championship belts. I also think, if WWE is not going to end the brand split, but they are going to have the title belts unified, I think it's going to make for better TV. I genuinely believe that. Thank you again, Sam, for your super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. How's everybody doing? We got Darren in here, Tony Coco. Tony Coco says Butch over Pete Dunne. I'm with you. I am really with you. I know a lot of people don't like that, but holy crap, I got to admit, I love what they're doing with Butch. That was really fun. Butch lost the match against Xavier Woods, right? And people are saying, well, wins and losses. He lost. No, Butch lost the match against Xavier Woods, which, by the way, we should want Xavier Woods to actually get some single wins. But secondly, Butch loses this match on a roll up, right? An old school or whatever it was, schoolboy pin, whatever. I can't even think anymore. I can't remember how it ended exactly. It was a roll up pin or something like that. Butch ends up losing this match, freaks out, and now he's starting to show anger towards Sheamus and Ridge Holland. I mean, I think this is great. Pete Dunne could have walked into the main roster and been an absolute nobody, or now he could actually be featured in a storyline. Again, you got to have something come from these losses. And that right there was the best part was because, one, you want Xavier Woods to win, but two, you don't want it to be Butch coming to the main roster and just losing pointless wins with no explanation, no storyline, no attachment to it. So all in all, I was actually really happy with Butch getting that opportunity. I think Butch leaving Ridge Holland and Sheamus is going to actually be a bigger deal. It was cool. I really, really like that. And by the way, another thing I really absolutely 1,000,000% I want to definitely mention because I was so blown away by this and I was so shocked. And we'll definitely talk more about ROH. But Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin had an absolutely amazing pop. That was the most weird thing. I knew at some point they would split. I didn't know exactly how they would go about it. And I think WWE executed that split so well. Now, for those who don't know, Madcap Moss was one of those guys who suffered from WWE getting a name change. Riddick Moss is also something I really do hope they go back to at some point. But they've gotten to a point where WWE had Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin literally like they had the people talking. People were going crazy. The reaction was there. A lot of people were for it. Baron Corbin's going back to being a freaking asshole heel. Madcap Moss gets over as a babyface. I think if they start dressing him up to look the part, I think they have something really special with him. And people do forget that like a year ago or when the pandemic started and they were doing the Thunderdome stuff and Raw Underground, when Paul Heyman was running Raw, he was really, really trying to push Madcap Moss back then. So there was a lot of hope for him. It looks like WWE is back on that push. And that's what I saw tonight from WWE. I saw a lot of WWE trying to propel the future of their show. And look, YouTubers, I've learned this about wrestling. Forget about AEW versus WWE. Just think about this for a second. Wrestling fans on social media have become so attached to their opinion that they're not willing to listen to anything else. And it's become so negative. So negative. I can't seem to understand why fans have such a big concern about WWE and AEW, this and that, this and that. What I think is important for people to realize is that right now in WWE and AEW, they're both putting up good content. They're both putting up good stuff. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. Are they great? Absolutely not. They have good stuff and they have bad stuff. But the cool thing is, wrestling's on fire right now. And WWE, wrestling fans will tell you that WWE can't create new stars. But the minute that Liv Morgan beats Sasha Banks, who hasn't lost in a long ass time, by the way, they're pissed. What do we want? Do we want new stars? Do we want people to fucking lose all the time? I mean, I'm trying to understand wrestling fans because, whether it's AEW, WWE, Impact, blah, 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 I think we're fucking forgetting what we actually want. I think that's what's actually happened at this point. I think wrestling fans have forgot what they want because we want new stars. Oh, Xavier Woods is not King Woods anymore. King Woods. He's not King Woods anymore. Oh, he's probably going to lose to Butch. No, he beats Butch. And then they tell a story right after it. I mean, do we not want King Woods? Do we not want Xavier Woods to be a winner? Do we want him to be a loser at all times? I have a hard time understanding that. It's like we've gotten to a point with wrestling and social media and everything like that where it's like people are so negative about everything. I see people complaining about Wheeler Yuta losing on AEW tonight. I cannot believe I am seeing tweets on Twitter about people complaining that Wheeler Yuta lost tonight. Me, Ango, the guy who says that champions shouldn't lose on television unless there's a purpose for it. I watched Wheeler Yuta literally become a star tonight. I mean, that's such a strange thing, man. It's such a strange thing. And honestly, I was just really happy. I thought both shows really executed tonight. I really love the fact that WWE and AEW, I feel like they've done a great job of I feel like they've done just a fantastic job of getting me excited for the future of their companies, man. I mean, that's really what it is. I think WWE and AEW both got me excited. Yes, Raquel Gonzalez changed her name. I think Gonzalez Rodriguez, I think both names, they're both last names. WWE eventually will probably drop the last name, in my opinion. But Raquel Gonzalez is good. You know what I mean? So she'll get over with the name. It's not a big deal. I don't think people will have an issue with it. WWE changed the name of Marcel Barthel or whatever. And again, his name, it's like WWE has characters. They have characters. They have intellectual properties. They have their brand. They have the WWE touch. That's the way they do things. And I think Gunther will be successful. There's a lot of people that will be successful going forward. And it's because WWE knows what they're doing. And by the way, there is a lot of great things that AEW did tonight, man. Red Velvet. She's in the Owen Hart Cup Foundation tournament. I'm excited about that. You know, tonight I felt like WWE and AEW got me excited for the future of their companies. Roman Reigns wants all the gold. So Roman Reigns cuts a promo and says he's going to send the Usos to Detroit to bring back those Raw Tag Team Champions. It is clear that WWE is looking at possibly unifying these Tag Team Championship belts. I mean, I just think right now WWE is doing some really good stuff, and I think AEW is doing some really good stuff. It was some really cool stuff, man. I see a lot of people in the chat. Let's take a look. Albert Ponce, where's that comment at? I'm going to bring it up. Can't even find it. The chat is moving way too fast. I'm sorry, my friends. I apologize. If you guys want to get in your super chats, go ahead and do that. Feel free to also click that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. A lot of great things tonight. Negla K says there are a lot of dream matches for Raquel. Yeah, absolutely. I think WWE's in a situation where, there's an issue as it stands right now with Ronda Rousey getting over, not getting over. I don't know what WWE's commitment is to the whole Ronda Rousey thing, but I look at Raquel Gonzalez, Raquel Rodriguez, just in general. I look at Raquel, Charlotte, Raquel, Rousey, Bailey, Becky, Sasha. I mean, those are all matches I want to see. Those are storylines I want to see. You never know. Maybe they bring in Dakota Kai to the main roster. There was a lot of cool stuff. For those who are wondering, my belief is that Wheeler Yuta and because I got this new ranking system. Wheeler Yuta and Moxley gets the same score that I gave FTR and the Briscoes. It was a 10 out of 5. Definitely a 10 out of 5. Both shows were very, very solid tonight. Lacey Evans, they did a return promo. Man, I wish this was a thing that was done more in wrestling. Lacey Evans had a vignette basically telling her real life story. And it's very similar to the one that she actually cut in the WWE Proving Grounds episode. Now, basically what's going to actually end up happening here is it appears that they're bringing Lacey Evans as a babyface, and every week they're going to have some vignettes for her. I'm super excited about that. I'm super, super excited about that. Lacey Evans went from having a romance angle with Ric Flair to now she's actually getting some sort of relative push. That's what I'm talking about, right? Again, I'm excited for the future. You got Lacey and Raquel coming back and doing these things on television, and they're both going to have some different storyline, it appears. Those are the things I want to see on television. I want to see people get repackaged. I want to see It's not a bad thing for wrestlers to get a new name or repackage. I think it's really up to WWE to put them in a dominant role from a creative perspective. That's on WWE. But these talent, they'll get over on their own. I mean, look at Wheeler Yuta. The guy is not the most incredible promo, but this guy knows how to tell the story in the ring. And he did it with emotion and physicality. I think a lot of wrestlers should take note from what we saw with Yuta and Moxley, because that's the type of stuff that gets people talking. And WWE has the same thing with some of their own programs. A lot of cool stuff, man. A lot of cool stuff. Albert Ponce just dropped a $5 super chat. What about that Marina vignette? And I can see Red Velvet and Team Taz, that little swagger after the match screams heel turn. Albert, thank you for your super chat, brother. So yeah, Marina Shafir. I mean, I don't even really want to talk about Marina Shafir because I really don't know what the hell AEW's plan is. That's the thing that kind of scares me with AEW is what are they going to do with Marina Shafir and Jade Cargill? Do they end up doing this thing where Jade ends up losing to Marina? I don't know. I do like the fact that AEW is airing vignettes. It's something I've been talking about for a while. There's a lot of things about AEW and WWE that I can sit here and I can talk negatively and just nitpick absolutely everything. But that vignette was good. I'm kind of excited to see what they do moving forward. In regards to Red Velvet and Team Taz, yes, I agree that Red Velvet's awesome, first and foremost. I really do believe that. But secondly, I think Red Velvet is somebody who she needs something. And I don't know what that something is. There's something missing from Red Velvet. And I don't know if the heel turn is the thing to do it. I don't know. But maybe that is the thing that helps. Obviously, having Taz and that role. I mean, I look at a lot of these factions, and the only faction that has a female in it is Andrade's organization. So that is another thing that people got to keep in mind. Um, there's no other group where there's no other group that has a female in it. So maybe that could be the thing that helps Red Velvet. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know. It is kind of concerning because I think Red Velvet has a lot of potential, but it is kind of concerning that, like, you know, and again, this is where you kind of nitpick AEW. But okay, Layla Hirsch, Chris Statlander, Red Velvet. What is happening there? You know, I know that Layla Hirsch was injured during an Elevation taping, but like I want to see some continuity with that on a bigger level. We didn't get that. Again, that might be nitpicking and stuff, but Red Velvet, like I just feel like it's like another start and stop thing, which I hope is not the case. But yeah, Albert, thank you so much for your super chat, brother. Appreciate you. A lot of people in the chat. We're answering questions. We're talking. We got the community wrapped. Guys, if you haven't clicked that like button, we got almost 200 people in here. If you guys could slap that like button, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you guys haven't joined the Discord server as well, I would highly encourage that you guys do that, because that would be really, really appreciative. And yeah, I see some people in the chat talking. Oh, somebody did correct me. Anna Jay is with the Dark Order. See, I forgot about that. I forgot that Anna Jay was with the Dark Order. You know, it just kind of goes to show you again, start and stops is an issue in AEW. Once they fix that, I think AEW will be really, really good. But it's like the start and stop thing presenting on TV. That's really, I think, the big thing that AEW needs to get better with. Because you're right. You guys are absolutely right. Yeah, Anna Jay is with the Dark Order. You just kind of forget this at that point. Let's see. I said the bunny. Nate, I already said the bunny. The bunny is with Allie. Allie the bunny, she's with Andrade's family organization or whatever they call it. AFO. Consume the eyes. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Cam Bone says I'm waiting for the Jamie Hayter storyline to get going. I agree once again. I'm really all in on Jamie Hayter. I think there's a lot of potential there. A lot of potential for sure. John Quinn says, I've said Yuta will be a major star for a while. Extremely quick, very young. Some moves he does exclusively. Great selling, takes some vicious bumps, not afraid to bleed, and crowd shouting Yuta again. Yeah, I mean, look, they're really, really into Yuta. What it's really going to come down to is the ability to cut promos and really become a star. That's not going to happen overnight. But Wheeler Yuta has that potential. And the cool thing is, with him joining Blackpool Combat Club, you know, he will be able to learn from Brian and John Moxley and William Regal. And that's really the cool thing, too. That's really the cool thing. So, Nate TV tried correcting me. He says, best friend Statlander. No, as of right now, she's not with the best friends. I mean, it appears, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but it appears they haven't shown her together. So I don't know. That was a very strange situation. She's kind of like breaking off doing her own thing. A lot of great stuff, honestly. It's just been a really exciting time for AEW and WWE tonight. Albert Ponce says Julia Hart and Varsity Blondes. Yes. Okay, so that's true. But that's probably going to be short-lived because it looks like Julia Hart's probably going to be on House of Black. And by the way, I mean, thank you guys for correcting me, but also, too, just something you got to keep in mind. You guys know I watch every episode, so the fact that I'm having a hard time remembering that tells me that maybe AEW could probably do a better job of reminding people, and again, it's just an issue that they have not enough TV time, but it is what it is. We got a super sticker from Consume the Eyes for $19.99. Wow. Thank you, Consume the Eyes. You are very awesome. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. StreamYard is actually pretty cool. I mean, if the stream is working good for you guys, I really like the idea how I could bring up your guys' comments and super chats on the screen. That is absolutely sweet to see. Consume the Eye says, that's my old band's name. My name is Ryan. Ryan, thank you. I appreciate you, brother. I'll try to remind myself that. It is very hard to keep up, but I will try to I'll try to remember that for future streams. Thank you, Ryan, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. A lot of people asking questions. Oh, Consume the Eyes. Ryan actually asked a question after the super sticker. What do you see for Wheeler? Well, right now they have the ROH Pure Championship on him. I don't know what the hell's the difference between ROH and AEW at this point. I'm not going to sit here and defend AEW. I enjoy the show. I enjoyed Rampage. I don't know what the hell the plan is for Wheeler and ROH. But what I would say is this. I would say if ROH is going to be a separate brand with a brand split, I would actually have Wheeler not be a part of ROH. And I want to explain that really quick. My fear is that people are going to think that I shouldn't. Let me rephrase that. Look, if ROH and AEW has a brand split, Wheeler Yuta needs to drop that belt, because at this point, I think after tonight, he actually became part of a potential upper mid card, like high, like, damn, this guy got me speechless. Like, literally, I think he's going to be at the top of the card for AEW. I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but I really think that's going to be the case. Yeah, for sure, and yeah, I think Wheeler is going to have a lot of potential on AEW. That's what excites me for sure, because, and I'm like losing my train of thought, but I think for him to go to ROH as a developmental, I think is a step down. I think that's the best way to explain it. Mike Cooper says, you're annoying. Thank you. I appreciate that. You are a good one. I love when you stop by my videos and leave me comments. You are such a nice individual. Shout out to you. Guys, I'm going to show the haters love too. Haters, lovers. Hate it or love it. The underdog's on top. Crypto says, what happened to LA Knight? He did not debut. He did not make it. He did not make it to the main roster. No call up for him just yet. Tony Coco says, give the IC and US titles to Roman too. Hashtag Bloodline. I'm all for it. This is where I wish they had Solo Sikoa get moved up from NXT and join the Bloodline, because then he would have been the guy. You could unify the IC and the US Championship, have one mid-card belt, and then WWE could have had Solo Sikoa hold the belt. I know that's like that to me is the fantasy booking, but yeah, I agree. I just don't know how the hell they're going to do it. But they're going to have all the belts, man. The tag titles, which I think that's like a cool thing, right? If you think about it, if the Bloodline wins those tag team championship belts and they unify the tag belts, the Bloodline basically runs the WWE, which I'm going to assume, without even having any knowledge, I'm going to assume the Bloodline is very, very successful in terms of business. Albert Pons just dropped a $5 super chat. If WWE books Charlotte versus Rousey and Charlotte wins, where does that leave Ronda? That's a great question, brother. You just dropped a $2 super chat saying in an I Quit match. Let's go back to the other super chat. So if WWE book Charlotte versus Rousey and Charlotte wins, where does that leave Ronda? I think that's going to leave them. I've been saying LA Knight needs to come to the main roster and manage her. I know that's a crazy idea, but I really do believe that. If I'm WWE and Ronda Rousey loses, I don't know. Ronda, they need to do something. The promos aren't connecting with the crowd. And the thing is, it's not that Ronda Rousey's bad. It's just she's not a WWE superstar, right? Like she counts from a UFC background. So to me, when I look at Charlotte and Rousey, what I would do is have Rousey turn heel and cheat against Charlotte. I would give her a long title reign, but I would have a manager. And I've seen some people on Twitter mention Malcolm Bivens. I mean, I love Malcolm Bivens and I like what he's doing with Diamond Mine. I just don't know how you put Malcolm Bivens with Rousey. I don't know how people actually take that as a serious thing. Maybe I'll eat my own words. I don't know. But that could be interesting. But she needs a mouthpiece. And at this point, I don't really give a shit who it is, but she needs one. Thank you, Albert, for your super chat, brother. Appreciate you. We got another super chat from Allison Tuckwab for $4.99. What is AEW live or pre-record? So yeah, basically, Allison, Rampage has been pre-recorded for a while. The spoilers were pretty massive. It was pretty obvious. A lot of people that were there, they had tweeted out like, "Hey, you don't want to miss Wheeler, Yuta, and Moxley." Good thing is, I didn't miss it. It was a very enjoyable match for AEW tonight, and that was the highlight of the show. Brian Danielson versus Trent was cool. It was good. It was fun. It was whatever, you know. But I think the talk of Rampage tonight was all about Wheeler Yuta. And it was pre-recorded. Now, with that being said, Allison, just so you know, next week for Rampage, there's going to be a special start time, and it's going to actually be live. And they're going to go live. I want to say at like 7:00. Maybe I'm wrong, but they're gonna have it live for 1 hour, and it's gonna be a Texas Death Match with Hangman Page and Lance Archer. So no, Lance Archer. What am I saying? That's the old match that they did. It's gonna be Hangman Page versus Adam Cole. I don't know why I said Lance Archer. I think that's because they had a Texas Death Match or whatever before, but nonetheless, that's gonna be on Friday. That's gonna be really exciting. But Rampage is not always going to be live. Thank you for your super chat, Allison. Appreciate you. Negla K says they need to call up the Usos, brother. I agree 100%. Negla K also says that Paul Heyman should manage Ronda. Normally, I would agree with that, but it just doesn't make sense because she's not part of the bloodline. So I don't know. I don't know what their plan is there. What can you say about ROH New Era? John, thank you for your question. I absolutely have no idea because truth be told, Tony Khan hasn't really told us anything about ROH. So I really can't tell you about this new era. I don't know if I have a lot of hope for it right now, but that's just because of the lack of information. Once we get more information, I'll be able to tell you more. Nate TV says, do you think WWE is ruining Cody with the match Cody versus Miz? That's what people are saying out there. Yeah, I mean, people always try to find a negative with everything. Right now, the light that is being painted on WWE and Cody, everybody's trying to be negative. I don't know what people are expecting, but what I expect, and I'll be there actually, I'll be there for Raw, so I'm excited about it. You need to have Cody have singles matches on TV. You got to use your wrestlers, you know? You can't go and have a show on a week-to-week basis and just have a guy cut promos every week. You got to have them be in matches. And The Miz is a very respected talent. I mean, definitely a future Hall of Famer. If anybody doesn't agree with that, I mean, that's your own opinion, but I don't know what to say. Cody should be having singles matches, picking up wins until they build a story. And I think what they should do is have Cody beat Miz and then have a confrontation with Seth Rollins. Maybe Seth Rollins attacks him or something. But they need to do something. We need to see him wrestle. That's the most important thing. Tony Coco, I love this idea. Tony Coco says Sonya Deville should turn on Charlotte and manage Ronda. I would not be opposed to that, but she is doing this on-screen character with Adam Pearce, but I do like that. Adam says, do you think AEW under the Warner Bros. Discovery banner helps or hurts AEW? I don't think anything good is going to come out of it personally. It's really hard to say. Discovery in the past there's like a love-hate relationship with wrestling. When it comes to AEW, they're still in contract till 2023, I believe, or 2024, one or the other. We'll see what happens. From my understanding, they have a very interesting road ahead of them. That's for sure. Melinda Josephine says Cody is not back in the mid card. You are 100% right on the money, Melinda. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, I mean, I think right now Cody he has to have matches. I don't think it makes sense for Cody to go into Raw and verse Bobby Lashley, right? Because Lashley's versing Omos. I would have him verse Kevin Owens on TV because Kevin Owens is doing something with Ezekiel. You got to have some sort of logic. Miz doesn't have a story. He doesn't have a wrestling match. He doesn't have anything going for it. What I would do is take advantage of that. Plus, if you're WWE, I mean, wrestling fans should think a little bit too before they just start bashing everything. But Miz TV and Cody Rhodes could become a segment the following week. You know, they can do something with Miz and Rollins and Cody to set up another match. Like, there's a lot of things that they can do. It's just really important that they put Cody on TV and take advantage of this. You know, people are saying, "Oh, Cody's going to lose his spark in 6 weeks." No, he's only going to lose his spark if you don't actually put him on TV. If he is not on TV, not having matches, people are going to then say he's lost his spark. But if Cody is wrestling every week and he's constantly on TV, there's no spark being lost. And I think that's really important for wrestling fans to realize, like, you know, what makes Samoa Joe really important to AEW right now? He debuted as Supercard of Honor immediately after he has a qualifying match for the Owen Hart Cup tournament. Now it's been announced that Samoa Joe is going to verse Minoru Suzuki for the ROH TV title on Dynamite next week. I mean, if Samoa Joe's not on TV every week, I'm going to sit here and say that they lost the spark. They lost the momentum. You got to ride the momentum, and that's exactly what they're doing with Cody, just like AEW is doing with Samoa Joe. It's actually really smart for WWE and AEW to be that way, by the way. Negla K says people be forgetting everything Miz has done in the WWE. Right on the money. Right on the money. People forget how good the Miz actually was. It's a shame. He's still good. That's why the Miz is making a ton of money and working these big matches. And that's what makes the Miz a desirable person in WWE. There's a lot of people who like the Miz. And it's not about, again, not doing 100 Canadian destroyers, but what it really comes down to is, can he get the crowd to react? Can he get people to buy into the product or look into the product? And I think the Miz, man, we talk about how shitty the Intercontinental Championship belt is today. If it wasn't for the Miz then, I don't know what to say, man. That guy had some great Intercontinental Championship reigns, that's for sure. Look at this. We were talking about wrestlers coming in and making their debut or return and losing momentum. Everything like Ruby Soho. A lot of great things happening in pro wrestling today. It was honestly a good night. John Quinn says, another YouTube show questioned today the future of AEW with the upcoming head of programming from the Discovery Network supposedly opposed to blood and violence. She would hate today's Yuta's match. Guys, I've been saying this for a while. I have been saying this for so long, and it's crazy because a lot of people, I'm not going to sit here and explain myself over and over and over again because it does become redundant. But I've been following the AEW streaming stuff with HBO and Warner and everything long before AEW was even announced as a company. Okay. We had been talking about this for years now. And I've always kept the same sentiment that one day, because things happen with television deals, that's just the way it is. But one day there's going to come a point where AEW might have some hard decisions to make. Now, I can't sit here and speak for Discovery. I can't speak for the person that's head of programming and the lady that's going to oversee TBS and TNT. But what I can say is this. In the past, Discovery has been very, very, very weird towards wrestling. In general, wrestling is not favored by these networks. Now, had this merger not gone through, I think AEW would be able to do whatever the hell AEW wants to do for as long as possible because Warner Media would have been there for them. However, with Warner Media executives not moving into the merger, it tells me that there should be some level of concern. So am I concerned? Yes. Do we have to worry about it right now? No. But I think not only will I think AEW, if I had to predict this, I think AEW is going to be in an interesting scenario, right? What I would guess is that AEW will probably be able to negotiate more money with these television partners. And by the way, when that contract ends, I'm sure they're going to look at all options that are on the table. But what I can see very well happening is a scenario where AEW can negotiate more money, which they should be able to, right? Having television deals, programming content, streaming, all of these different things. Plus, HBO Max will now become Warner Bros. Discovery. And, you know, I think AEW can definitely negotiate more money. The catch to all of that could very well be, hey, you need to go PG. Is that 100% certain? No. But if I'm predicting it, I can see that they're going to make a lot more money because of all the content that they have and the good numbers and the good ratings and all these different things that these people look at. But I also think it's going to come at a cost. And I think if you're AEW, you still do it, and that's going to bother a lot of fans. I see a lot of fans the minute that AEW, if hypothetically speaking, if AEW says, hey, we're going PG or we have to lower the blood and guts and they're just saving that for pay-per-view. I mean, if they go that route, I think a lot of fans will be upset about that. That for sure is one of the things that, to me personally, it's like, I think that's the only way I could predict it. I think there's going to come a cost. They're going to get paid more money. And, look at these other networks. Look at Viacom, for example. I think Viacom should absolutely get AEW, right? I feel like they should be in the running. But we all saw what happened with TNA and Spike TV. It was disastrous. But now you look at Viacom and Bellator, CBS Sports, Showtime Sports, all of these different things. I think they could have a lot of potential if you add AEW in the mix. Is it possible? I do think it's possible, but I do see fans turning on AEW if they lose that spark. If they lose the thing that makes them different, fans, I think, will definitely turn on it. Tony Coco says, so we ain't going to talk about Hook and Danhausen. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you guys. It's not for me. It's just not for me. I see why people love it. I actually have nothing against Danhausen. I like Danhausen a lot, and I see what they're doing here with Hook and Danhausen. It's just not my type of segments. It wasn't bad. It's just not something that personally interested me. And I wish they didn't do it on Rampage. I wish they did it on Dynamite. But yeah, no, it's cool. Hook is the future of AEW if they play their cards right. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, overall, just a fun night for wrestling. I think they did a good job, kind of going back to WWE. Tonight on SmackDown, WWE brings in these new faces from NXT and they're given new names. And it's like it's the type of thing that makes people upset with WWE, but they just don't understand why WWE does it. Look, man, if you're a wrestler, whether you're an AEW, WWE, Impact, whatever, if the name makes you a star, you're not a real star. You gotta be good in the ring. You gotta deliver promos. You gotta learn how to connect with the crowd. And I think the name doesn't make the person makes the name. So Raquel Gonzalez is now on SmackDown. She's going by the name of Raquel Rodriguez. I think at some point they'll probably just drop the last name anyways. I think, we saw Marcel Barthel from NXT. He's now managing Gunther, which was formerly known as Walter. Again, these guys will get over on their own. I don't think the name really dictates whether these guys will be successful or not. I think everybody's going to be good. It's just WWE is going to make these business decisions, and it is what it is. I'm not mad at it. I'm actually looking forward to see how they move forward with this new talent, and that's the best part about it. There's a lot of the NXT 2.0 system is probably going to be a lot more successful than it was before. That's just my personal opinion. But Keith Lee went from Keith Lee to Bearcat. He didn't work out. It's just unfortunate, but it is the way it is. And that's why I like the idea of WWE giving people a little bit more of these new identities and a little bit more of these repackaging. And I think AEW needs to do that to a certain extent. I really do think AEW needs to do that to a certain extent. I know they're giving their people freedom to be whoever they are, but ultimately it would be better for AEW if they were putting their wrestlers in a situation where they can, actually become a character and stuff. And I don't know, like AEW is kind of teasing something with Mark Sterling and Tony Nese. that could be what he needs, right? Kind of like the Jade Cargill thing, right? Like they might need somebody to help you get there, and that's okay. Just do it the right way, and people will be accepting of it. Since he edit says, if the Usos win the Raw tag titles, I feel like it's going to get really boring. So, for those who are unaware, on SmackDown tonight, Roman Reigns cut a promo basically suggesting that the Usos go to Raw and bring back the Raw Tag Team Champions. Now, you may have missed it, but I've talked about it before. WWE actually has championship belts sitting in the warehouse. They've had it there for about like 8 months at this point, but they never made their debut on television. With WWE having Roman Reigns winning the World Championship and then the Usos possibly winning the tag team championship belts, not only would all the belts really belong to the Bloodline, but unifying the tag titles and the world title could make for better television. It could be for better scenarios on Raw and SmackDown. I think those title belts will need to meet. They will eventually mean more, right? The only difference is you got Finn Balor and Ricochet holding the mid card title belts, and they constantly lose on TV. So I don't know what WWE does there, but WWE could very well be unifying these belts. I'm all for it 100%. You don't need to end the brand split, but having one champion per division makes the most sense to me. 100%. Let's see. AK says Yuta and Moxley's match was insane. 100%. Absolutely. Man, that was so fun. To me, that was extremely fun. Um, Dragon Den says, what do you think about Jade being the person AEW builds around? Wouldn't that be something HBO Discovery would love more because there's no one that looks like her and it sounds progressive? I don't know. I can't talk to you from like a television network standpoint. I can tell you from a fan perspective, Jade Cargill is the one person that's been packaged correctly in AEW. From branding, presentation, storyline, booking, absolutely everything about Jade Cargill has been 100% perfect to a T. A lot of people hate me when I say that, but I do genuinely believe she is the one true star in AEW. I know MJF is great, and I'm not taking anything away from MJF and Wardlow. I think those guys are obviously stars, but I look at Jade Cargill as being a crossover star, film, movies, radio, television, wrestling. Like, I think Jade has it all. If I was a television network, I would make it very clear that she gets pushed. But I don't know what kind of say they have in terms of talent being pushed or whatnot. That's going to be very interesting to see, though. Jordan Walsh says, "Is Yuta part of Blackpool Combat Club?" It appears so. It definitely appears so. Tony Coco says, "Cut the shit, Ango, bro." No, 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 no. I'm not cutting the shit. I literally believe Jade Cargill. It's not about wrestling to me. It's not about wrestling. I'm looking at it from a perspective of presentation, television presence. Jade Cargill, that's credit to AEW, bro. AEW has literally put Jade Cargill in a position where she looks like money. She looks like money. Like that. Jade Cargill prints money for AEW. I genuinely believe that. And I love that people hate it, by the way. I love that people hate it because she's a heel. So it gets her over even more. And AEW is in a situation too, mind you. If they push Jade Cargill into this absolutely phenomenal story where she just relinquishes the belt because she's that good, and then she wins the world championship, dude, I'm telling you, fans, they need to give her the Roman Reigns treatment, honestly, because that's gonna get her over even more. I love it. I'm 100% for it. No Bucks says MJF is all of DX's attitude rolled into one. He'll go to WWE and be the new version of the Miz because the WWE creative isn't good enough to do anything good with him. I think the issue is not what necessarily creative being good, but MJF says a lot of risky stuff, which by the way, that is that's a big concern. If you watch AEW, you should be concerned what Discovery might do, in terms of how they're allowed to cut promos and present themselves. MJF may or may not be able to get away with some of those promo he cuts. For damn fact, I know that MJF will not be able to say all that crazy shit that he says on Fox or NBC, USA Network or whatever. Like, to me, that's one of those things. I love MJF, but right now it works because the television partner allows him to do what he does. I don't know. I don't think it's WWE's issue of creative. I just don't think WWE has the ability to really allow him to go off like he does. That's the issue. You think there's another one joining Blackpool Combat Club? Great question. If I was AEW, I would absolutely have more members. It's a weird situation though because we have Daniel Garcia and the Jericho stuff, but I do think there is a scenario for AEW to. I think there is a scenario in which they would benefit from having more members. Darren, oh my God, Darren, what about those Detroit Tigers, man? What about those Detroit Tigers? You see that walk off? Crazy, crazy, crazy. Darren says Suzuki might be going back to Japan, so put the ROH title on Joe. Isn't that sad? Isn't it sad that we are living in a world where there is even a slight opportunity for Minoru Suzuki to be a transitional champion in AEW? It sucks, but that's an issue that, like, I mean, it makes sense as to why. It just sucks that it's even a concern. But yeah, it is a possibility that Samoa Joe will win the belt. That'll be cool when he does. But again, we just don't know what the hell is happening with ROH. So I can't get excited about an ROH championship belt changing hands on Dynamite because I don't know what the hell is happening with ROH. I hope that we start getting more information on it. I hope we get an idea because once we get an idea, then I'll be super excited. The match is going to be sick. This thing where I tell you guys like matches are getting 10 stars out of 5. That's going to be one of them for sure. For sure, for sure. CJG says, where's Miro's fit when he comes back? I don't know. The roster is very crowded. There's a lot of places you could put Miro, but again, Miro is a guy that could be world champion if you want, and it looks like that won't be the case. So that's a really, really hard scenario. Romney's Gonzalez says the signing of Willow is going to be so underrated for AEW. Yeah, that was kind of the reason why I didn't like the idea of them not showing her entrance and stuff, because it would have been cool for the fans to really have an introduction to who she is and stuff. They just kind of got right into the match, but it was a fun match. Willow's going to be great. It sucks that she opens up her AEW career 0-1. They didn't necessarily announce that she's been signed, but I have a feeling when they launch ROH, Willow will be elite. So, Josu Rivera says Ango is the third brother of Elias. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I am the third brother. I am the youngest brother of Ezekiel and Elias. That is not accurate, but yeah. Romney's Gonzalez says, hey, I'm 100% with you. I can't understand why they make Red Velvet win the match. Willow is not currently signed. That is why. A lot of cool things. No, Buck says, do you think the Lions would be better off with Baker Mayfield instead of Goff? Just wondering since you mentioned the Lions. I didn't mention the Lions. I mentioned the Tigers. But since this is I'm live, and why not just answer a question about sports? No. I think the Lions are better off drafting a quarterback in the draft. That's what they should do. Now, guys, I have always wanted to have a sports podcast and a channel dedicated to sports. I don't know if you guys would subscribe to it, but it's something I might want to consider doing just because I love sports. Jordan Walsh says, isn't Yuta ROH pure champion? Is he still allowed to have it in AEW? We don't know what the difference is between AEW and ROH. That's the problem. But yeah, right now he's carrying the belt and he's on Dynamite and Rampage. They've done such a phenomenal job with Wheeler Yuta. Thank God they got him out of this best friends bullshit. AEW comedy act. I know a lot of people talk shit about WWE's comedy stuff, but Yeah, I don't know. I think comedy and wrestling, like AEW has some good and some bad, but the best friends to me were like a weird type of comedy. So Albert Pond says, "Bring on the USFL." Yes, yes. I think that starts next week, so that'll be really interesting. Romney says, "My condolences to Detroit fans who got nothing to enjoy. Laugh my ass off." Nah, man, don't even get me started. The Pistons, future playoff team. We're building a system there, a very good system. We got money in the tank. We're gonna spend a lot of money. We're gonna get a nice draft pick, probably Blancaro or whatever, Blanchero, from Duke. Also, Tigers won off a walk-off. They just won their first game of the season against the White Sox. Absolutely wonderful game. They came back. They won 5-4. The Lions, yeah, they suck. They definitely suck. I don't know what's going to happen. They might be good, though. I like the coach. And the Red Wings are kind of booty. So it sucks. John says, "Do you like what Impact Wrestling is doing right now?" All the time. I talk about Impact all the time as one of my favorite wrestling shows. I love Impact. They have a good mixture of comedy, seriousness. There's a couple things they struggle with, but there's a lot of things that they do in terms of long-term storytelling. I think they're actually better than WWE and AEW in that regard. But usually when I say that, the internet wrestling community gets pissed at me because it's like, I don't know, it's bullshit. Tim Nichols says one of Regal's kids wrestles for WWE's NXT UK. Yep. Charlie Dempsey, I believe is his name. If you watch NXT UK, he's actually really awesome. He sounds and talks just like William Regal. I don't know if WWE will ever do anything with him, but my God, I hope they do because he is awesome. Johnny Cage says Wendy Chu has skills in that ring. Yes. But man, she sleeps too much on the job. Charles Dempsey. Yep. Charles Dempsey. Nate TV says, "Does Tony Storm take off the belt off Jade?" I sure hope not. Sure hope not. That's for sure. Albert says, "Do you know the time frame on Sami Callihan's return?" I honestly don't know. I'm going to assume it's soon. That's going to be badass, by the way. When Sami Callihan returns and he feuds with Eddie Edwards again, the tides have turned, right? Before Sami Callihan was a heel, now Eddie Edwards is a heel. When Sami Callihan returns and becomes the biggest babyface of Impact, it's going to be sick as hell. Should Carmelo Hayes and Trick head to the main roster or chase the NXT Championship? I've actually heard rumors that WWE is looking at moving them to the main roster pretty soon. Don't know if that's true, but if I was WWE, I would have them go for the NXT Championship. Just give them a little bit more experience. Trick Williams is very green in the ring, but he's really, really good on the mic. And I think he immediately elevates the whole Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes act. So if I'm WWE, I would put them together on the main roster. But you don't have to rush. That's the thing that's nice about NXT is you don't have to rush. It's on television every single week. Good television, good storylines. You're developing people. They're getting better and better and better. I love it. Cam Bone says maybe one day we get Sammy versus Mox on Dynamite. I would love it. I don't think it's gonna happen. Zeus says, "Who do you want to be AEW Trios champions?" House of Black. Um, that's what I would say is House of Black, but they don't do anything with House of Black of any importance. That's a whole weird scenario. I don't know what the hell they've been doing with that, but and again, I'm trying to keep it a little bit positive. I don't want to be like too negative, but just a strange scenario with them and how they've booked that, you know. A lot of cool stuff. Guys, go ahead and get in your super chats if you want to get in any more super chats before we go off the air. We're just live for over an hour. I'm going to be ending the show in just a moment. But if you guys want to get in those super chats, get those in now. And I just want to say thank you to everybody again for stopping by and contributing to the show. It's been really fun. We were testing out StreamYard because I will be traveling and going on vacation soon. A couple different trips that I'll be doing. And I won't have my everything setup wise. I won't have the craziest setup, but I'll make sure when I'm traveling throughout the next few months, got some big business trips. I want to make sure that when I'm on those trips, though, I can still bring you guys the content that you guys are looking for and still do the live show. So I know StreamYard works. I probably won't do anything more than StreamYard. Or I probably won't use StreamYard more often, but yeah, just want to let you guys know as to why it looks different this time. Albert Pons dropped a $2 super chat. Sammy versus Jonah or Macklin, both could be bangers, 100%. Dude, and I hate saying this. And Albert, I think I told you this before. Steve Macklin, WWE needs to figure out a way to bring him back and push him, dude. He is so good. He is so good. So good, so good, so good. Sammy versus Jonah will be cool, but right now I think the match for sure that they have to do is Sammy Callahan versus Eddie Edwards. They need to go back at that. They need to go back to that storyline, and once they go back to that storyline, it's going to be awesome because, again, Sammy Callahan's a babyface, Eddie Edwards being a heel. The tides have turned. And congrats to Impact for really making Sammy Callahan get over and doing something different. A lot of people don't remember when Sammy Callahan was in NXT, and that whole thing was just a mess. They just didn't know what to do with him. It was a whole different time period with NXT. It was before NXT really evolved. They had like a hacker gimmick thing, and then, I don't know. It was strange. Very strange. Thank you, Albert Pons, for your super chat. Appreciate you, brother. That appears all that we have time for tonight. Overall, great episode of SmackDown. Great episode of Rampage. I actually liked both. I love both shows tonight. I thought both were good. A lot of great stories being introduced. Great characters being introduced. Really, really exciting for me. So we'll leave it there. I'll be back on Monday for Raw, Tuesday NXT, Wednesday Dynamite. Huge shows next week. And we'll be back next week. We'll do 2 3-hour episodes. I'm sure we'll be going live for a lot longer than normal. So anyways, thank you guys for stopping by. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys liking, commenting, super chatting, all that good stuff. You guys are awesome. And I'll see you next time. Peace.